Good afternoon, YouTube. I am the City Prepper. First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you that have continued to subscribe to this channel since its inception in, I believe, March of 2017. It means more to me than I can ever relay and that you will ever know. And there has been a few hiatuses on this channel. Most recently, one I don't even know how long it's been, 2 years, a year and a half since my last video. And I want to kind of explain why that has happened before I go on with today's shocking headline that probably captivated a lot of you to watch this video, besides being a subscriber. So I've been dealing with an ongoing health emergency for the last 2 years, which has required surgeries and procedures, and I still have some issues to deal with, none of which are life-threatening. I don't want anyone to worry or be concerned about it, but it has something that has been taking up a lot of my time. There has been things that have moved around over the last few months that is now affording me the opportunity to continue to deal with the health issues that I'm dealing with, doctors, physical therapy, so on and so forth, but is giving me the time to now concentrate on this. What I've been seeing a lot of on YouTube, Patreon, Instagram, X, is a lot of clickbait, fear porn, and topics that are being discussed that are causing people to panic, which is causing people to panic buy, and so on and so forth. You will get a little dose of that on this channel, but that is just to make you simply aware of what's going on in the world and how I'm seeing it. It is not intended for you to be scared. I would not be scared. Having a sincere faith in God will alleviate with that. And I'm not here to preach religion. It is no secret that I am Catholic. I'm simply saying for you to get close to whatever God you believe in. With that said, thank you for all the well wishes for those that are personal friends of mine on this channel. Thank you for standing by this channel. Thank you for not unsubscribing. And I appreciate you standing by me. So with that said, I am not going to do anything like I've promised in the past where we're going to have this video, that video. I'm simply going to put out content like I originally did, and hopefully each and every one of you will view it, like it, subscribe, and share, because a lot of the things that I'm talking about on here will resonate to you in whatever part of the globe you are, whatever part of the country you are, and is ideas to help you get through an emergency, ideas to help you keep safe, ideas on how to avoid being a sheep, because that is the ultimate goal of this channel, is to make you self-reliant and independent, and to continue to have you thrive and have your family thrive no matter what natural or man-made disaster is coming our way. So with that said, again, I apologize for the hiatus, and for the foreseeable future, I do not see anything like this coming on. Like I said, there are some procedures that I have to go for that might have me on the sideline for a couple of days, but nothing that will prevent me from speaking and getting out the content and messages that need to get out to each and every one of you. So let's get into it. Today's topic is radical ideology will overtake the West. What we see now in the news, in our communities, in our our hometowns, in our states, in our countries, is a mass invasion of radical ideology from a certain religion. Again, I am not demonizing any religion. Any religion that puts God before anything else is the religion that I suggest you follow. Again, not preaching my beliefs to you, but there is a certain religion, and again, not to get this video flagged or taken down, there is a certain religion that is radicalized in their ideology, and not all of them. There's a small percentage of them that are dominating what we're seeing in the news. You saw it in Spain, you're seeing it in the US, and that is part of what I believe to be a three-phase invasion. First phase of the invasion is coming here in masses, fighting age males with their radical ideology that will be dormant. They'll be very accommodating and won't say anything about the trans movement, the LGBTQ plus movement. They won't interfere with our way of life. Second phase of the invasion will be these radicalized individuals will run for public office, will win public office, and the third and final part of the invasion is their way or no way. And you are seeing that in Switzerland, Germany, France, London, New York, Texas, I believe, is having an issue. You're seeing it all over the country. And I think we are at the point that if you are not aware of this, if you are not speaking up when you need to speak up, it's going to come to a point where there's zero return. And I believe that we are on that teetering point of the seesaw. I think it is starting to teeter to that point where there's going to be no way to vote ourselves out of this predicament that we're in, and the results are going to be none of which anybody could have ever imagined in their lives. I think that people need to start being more vocal about it. People need to start being more aware of it. And again, I am in no way, shape, or form advocating for violence. I tell each and every one of you to be gray, to be neutral. But when confronted with a situation that serious physical injury is imminent to you, yourself, a loved one, or a stranger, you need to be able and capable of defending yourself, your family members, and strangers in need. I think we will get to that point in this country. I think we will get to that point in society. We're already seeing it in Australia. We saw it in California. We saw it in New York on September 11th. You're seeing it in Germany. You're seeing it in Switzerland. You're seeing it in Finland. You're seeing it in France. You're seeing it in Ireland. You're seeing it in Canada. You're seeing it in major Western countries. At an alarming rate, you are seeing attacks on the Catholic Church that have been unprecedented in any point since the Roman days, I believe. And it's happening more frequent. Once is a anomaly, twice is not a coincidence anymore. It's intentional. And if you look into what I'm speaking about, again, I don't want to get flagged, but if you look at what I'm talking about, where churches are burning down and then a certain radicalized group is buying that land because there's zero permits to build the church again, that's being done on purpose. And that is being done intentionally. And I think you need to be very much aware of that, be very much aware of your surroundings. And I think it's to the point where I highly suggest if you are leaving the house, you have your everyday carry items, which I've gone over in the past. And I think that you should be having that everywhere you are legally allowed to carry that stuff. So be mindful of that. Also in the news over the last few weeks, we have had Dr. Fauci come out and was summoned to testify before I believe it was I don't know if it was House or Senate committee, and where he pled the fifth over and over and over and over and over again. It was also made aware that with his pardon, he had no legal right to do so. He was found in contempt. But again, if you did this for the betterment of man, you did this for the betterment of this country with this arm ticket that he was pushing, why did he become a multimillionaire over and over again from that? Why did he profit from that? And why is he keeping silence if this was all a good thing? You are seeing the Strait of Hormuz and now Panama Canal becoming an issue. If you haven't felt the pinch at the pump, you haven't felt the pinch in the grocery store, you will be feeling it more so in the next weeks, months to come because of this. The Strait of Hormuz is not open. Over and over and over again, the president has come up and said, oh, it's open. There, if you look at any grid, you search any grid, very few shipping containers are going through because of the threat of violence or having to pay billions and millions of dollars of fees to cross the strait. It has now become such an issue that this is going to have a major hiccup, in the next weeks and months to come. So when you start realizing that it's already past the point of savings and becoming more ahead of the game when it comes to that. The grid. The grid is something that I've been talking about for years. Our grid is completely outdated. I believe it was last updated in the 70s. Don't quote me on that. And it is now more vulnerable than it has been ever in our history. Why is this important? Grocery stores have 3 days worth of food and supplies to last for their customers. If the grid is out, you can't pump gas. If you can't pump gas, the shipping and the trucks and the different ways to get the items will not come to the stores. If the stores are bare, people become desperate. If people become desperate, then you have that mob mentality, the riot mentality, the purge mentality. And if you are in a small city or a heavily populated city, it is going to become a very dangerous problem for you. I happen to be in Staten Island. That's no secret. If you follow Joel Skousen's book, Strategic Relocation, it marks Staten Island as the worst place to be during any natural or man-made disaster. Why? I need to get over a bridge to get out. If they lock down the bridges like they did for 9/11, there is no moving. The only way out is via boat. If you don't have a boat, you are stuck. What are your options down? Sheltering in place. That is your only option. And if it comes to a point where they're breaking down doors, going house to house to seize your items, whether that is whoever is the boogeyman in this situation, you need to be prepared to defend yourself. I've said this repeatedly. Bullets, beans, and band-aids. You need to have a means, a legal means of self-defense. You need to have a means of sustainable food storage, and you need to have a adequate medical supply and knowledge of how to use that stuff. And I believe that with this ever-growing threat of Iran, China, Russia, whoever the boogeyman is here, that the grid down situation is extremely plausible in this case. They've already said, there's no secret, that Iran is planning a October 7th style attack on the U.S. Al-Qaeda, all these other terrorist groups are actively trying to one-up 9/11. How do you do that? You take down the grid. And this isn't any top secret information. This is public source information that they're talking about freely all over the mainstream media and the alternative media. And I think you need to be prepared for that. One way to do that is Starlink. And this is no way funded by Starlink. This is not a plug from Starlink. There is a subscriber on this channel that recommended getting Starlink, which has the standby mode for $10 a month. Highly suggest doing that. They have the mini, which I just purchased, $200, with $10 service fee for standby, which allows you to make calls, which allows you to make send out text messages. Invaluable piece of equipment. Here's the caveat to that. If your area is affected by whatever is going on, grid down, all that, so on and so forth, the 9/11 style where their cell phone towers aren't working, yes, Starlink is an invaluable tool to have in your utility belt, but you need to power it. I highly suggest getting a generator, a battery backup system, or have the inverter to have that in your vehicle. That is just a suggestion on how to alleviate and give you that mental, psychological advantage to survive that situation. So I just touched upon it, the Iranian threat. This is a unwinnable war, in my opinion. I think that the low tech that Iran is currently using is far superior to any missile weapon system that we have, and the reason being that it costs millions and millions of dollars to make some of these pieces of equipment, whether that be the guided missiles, whether that be ships, whether that be troop carriers, so on. It's millions of dollars of technology being used in this quote unquote war. Iran is currently using low tech $1,000 inflatable balloons that look like ships and so on, and it is causing us to deplete our stockpile and along with the armaments and weaponry we give Israel and Ukraine, we are at a low stockpile. And it's not like we can just go build these things one, two, three. It takes years of development and building for these things, not to mention a lot of our chips are coming from overseas, which is another problem in itself. But it is causing a perfect storm situation where we will not be able to defend the homeland or a multi-front war if we continue at the rate we're continuing. So I think that this war that we are in is not going to be one that's going to be won with missiles and ships. I think this is going to be boots on the ground, and that poses a threat within itself, because now it's not like we can just pull up from a neighboring country. You have water and you have mountain ranges that are protecting and isolating Iran, which is now means a ground invasion from the water and a ground invasion from the sky, which is posing a significant casualty risk to American lives. So I do not think there's going to be support for any further involvement in this country, and I don't think that there's going to be any support for a full-fledged attack. So I do think this is an unwinnable war, which in return has made us more vulnerable as a country and is causing an issue at everyone's pocket because of the way gas is. So you need to be more self-reliant. I've been stressing that now for how many years on this channel. Preparedness is something that, again, I have beaten a dead horse with, and a lot of what I've spoken about has come true, and a lot of the things that I have taught on this channel are things that can get you by in any situation. I'm not trying to have this channel be solely wilderness survival. I'm trying to give that city preparedness mentality to get you through urban, rural, suburban survival situations, like getting stuck in your vehicle. That can happen anywhere. You can get trapped in your vehicle on a highway going from one city to another, and you're stuck for however long till help can come. It could be a cold night. You don't want to freeze to death. So having those survival blankets in your car to then cause to the car to retain the heat is one way to survive, and that can be done anywhere. A lot of the things on this channel that I've spoken about are to help you get through any situation. So all I can do is continue to preach about what's going on in the news and ways this goes into your survival mindset. So hopefully you will continue to follow this channel. Hopefully you will smash that subscribe and like button if you haven't done so already, and share this video. I understand that in the next days and weeks and months to come, I'm going to have to regain each and every one of your trust again, because a lot of you, and I've spoken to a lot of you, look forward to this channel because I'm relaying the information, I'm condensing it, and I'm trying to do it without an element of fear porn, as they call it. And I have let each and every one of you down in that respect. I do sincerely apologize. I appreciate you not unsubscribing if you haven't done so, and I appreciate you watching this video. So let's get this back to the thousands of subscribers and viewers that I've already had, and let's continue to be prepared, look to God, and stay tuned for further as always. Thank you very much, and I will speak to you guys soon.